Hi, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Keptn community meeting. Today is October 28th in a little bit more quiet round, but I assume more folks will be joining, and I see just others joining as well. We got a couple of smaller items for today. Actually, the first item is one item that I've added. It's the Artifact Hub integration that I want to share. And it's basically a new way of listing Keptn integrations or Keptn services. So if you now go to, I think I first show you the outcome before I show you the implementation. And for the outcome, if you go to keptn.sh and click on in the top menu bar on integrations, you will be now presented a list of integrations that is fully searchable. So if you, for example, look for a test service, you can just type in some testing here, and this list will provide you with maintained Keptn integrations or Keptn services, both from the Keptn Sandbox and Keptn Contrib. And this list is, let's say, more or less a curated list of integrations that are maintained and are up to date to work with the latest versions of Keptn. If you click on one of the services, for example, the artillery service, you will be brought over to the Artifact Hub. So this is basically the backend for this new integration page. And you will find more information here, like a README, a change log, if there's any change to the previous version, and also an installation instruction. So for this, we do not have the installation instruction, but let me go back, for example, to the Dynatrace service that hopefully has an installation instruction. Then we have the install button here enabled, and you can find the installation instructions, how to install this Keptn service with your running Keptn installation. Yeah, and you will have, again, here all the information on the service itself. The code itself lives in the Keptn Sandbox and is basically a repository with a folder for each integration that is maintained. And for example, if we go for the Jara service, we find here it's the specified version 0.8.5. And each integration consists of two files. We have first the README file, which is the file that is shown if you go here. Probably I show this also with the Dynatrace service just to be consistent. So for the Dynatrace service, we already have two versions. The latest version here, it's basically the README file that will also be shown here on the Artifact Hub page, where the whole README file is shown. And then in the install or behind the install button, and also here with where there is a couple of meta information, you will find everything in the Artifact Hub package file, which is basically some kind of meta information. For example, here we have the installation instruction. We have some kind of other artifacts or other Keptn integrations, Keptn services that we want to list. For example, here we just list the main Keptn, the Keptn core service or installation, and it's defined by a couple of different annotations. Like this one is an SLI provider, but not only an SLI provider, but it can be an SLI provider. It resides in the Keptn org, in the Keptn Contrib org. It's compatible with different Keptn versions. So this is just a couple of different meta information that is described here, also with the URL to the logo that you have seen, which is the Dynatrace image. And yeah, this is basically how we can maintain integrations for the Artifact Hub going forward. So if you want to list your integration, please do a PR on the Keptn Sandbox /Artifact Hub, add a folder or upgrade the version in one folder and upgrade all the resources. You can easily upgrade this by basically copying the old folder into a new one with a new version, and then just adding the or just changing whatever needs to be changed in the metadata description, for example, the version or installation instructions or whatever has changed. not all integrations are listed. So there might be a couple of integrations like the Grafana one that we have listed here in the in the repository. It has a valid artifact hub package YAML, but I believe, yeah, we have it here. It's deprecated because it does not work with the latest versions of Keptn. So since this is deprecated, it's not shown in the list of Keptn integrations. So it's not showing up in this list. But if you're on the Artifact Hub and you search for it, you will still find it. But in this list, it's just all the integrations that are working and that are not deprecated. Yes, I think that's the most important part here. What's coming up next for this integration? So it's already released, but let's say it's not yet finished. And what we are already working on, or actually Gilbert, the developer on this part, what he's already working on is an enhancement to also have, where do we have the, somewhere, let me just, there should, oh, sorry, it's not in this one. It's on keptn.github.io. It's an enhancement to also have filters for the different integrations, to have also filters listed. And I will show you how it will look like once it's finished. So for example, we have filters to show only observability tools, or to show only deployment tools, or to show only testing tools. So we will have a couple of different filters. If you want to get in touch with which filters you want to have here, I will link the corresponding PR also in the meeting document. So you can also have a discussion here in the meeting document. And also the Artifact Hub is not, let's say, limited to Keptn integrations in the sense that each Keptn integration has to be a deployable image, but we can also open up the Artifact Hub for new Keptn integrations that are basing on the job executor, or that new integrations that make use of the webhook integration. That is actually also the next part in the agenda. So if you have any integration that you want to share with the community, and it's worth putting this also on the Keptn website here on the integrations page, then please consider opening a PR for the Artifact Hub repository in Keptn Sandbox and have your integration listed there. Yeah, I think that's the most important part here. Are there any questions? I see there is something in the chat from Suraj. Artifact Hub is super convenient. Yeah, it is. Thanks for this. If you have more experience with the Artifact Hub, if you want to share how we can improve this, we are also happy to hear that.
Oh, that would be great. Is my voice audible?
Yes, now I can hear you again.
Oh, okay. So for some reason, my laptop is using not using my headphones for some reason. I recently used Artifact Hub for something else, and thought it was really convenient. So seeing this in Keptn is really nice.
Yes, it's as you say, it's really convenient. So, for example, what we have here is also related packages like the Keptn Helm chart, but also other Keptn integrations. Once you're here in the we are here in the Dynatrace service, and I know that the team is already working on, or at least we have an issue to improve also the integration and the listing of the official Keptn Helm charts here. So currently, the integrations or the Keptn services, they are shown with the logo and with a more detailed description, but there is already an issue to also have the official Keptn Helm charts listed here with a little bit of description and also with the correct logo. Yeah, so this is something that we're working on. I think it makes a lot of sense to have our artifacts listed here as well, since you can just, if you search for something like chaos engineering and you're familiar with Litmus, then you might be able to find Litmus, but also the Litmus service for Keptn. So it's really cool to see how Keptn is integrated with the CNCF ecosystem. Okay, are there any more questions on this?
I think there's a waving hand from Oleg.
Yeah. Hi all.
Hi.
Hi, Oleg.
Yeah, Oleg, do you have any questions?
No, not really. But nice to see this demo, and thanks for all these integrations. So the Artifact Hub is growing quickly, and yeah, hopefully we will be able to integrate more and more components there.
Right.
Right. Yeah, then I think I will already be handing over to, is it probably Johannes? Yeah.
Yeah, I added that one to the agenda for today.
Okay. Do you want to share?
Yes, for a second.
Yeah, cool. And I will just add one more agenda item at the end.
Because what I would like to show you is actually, yeah, the Keptn 0.10 release is super close around the corner. Just a couple of steps left to get it officially released. And the most important feature that you as a Keptn user will get from this new release is definitely allowing you now to integrate webhooks into the orchestration of Keptn. And for that, I'm inviting you to take a look at the preview of the documentation that I'm showing here, and also added to the meeting notes. And when you open that one, you go to custom integrations, and there you find then a section called webhook integrations. And this explains how you can integrate your webhook into a Keptn without providing custom code, obviously, just providing the HTTP URL you would like to call. And for doing so, well, the first is that you create a webhook integration, which you can register on tasks that are triggered, started, or finished. This you can technically or basically do by adding a subscription to the webhook service. When you go to the uniform of Keptn, then you will find with 0.10 this webhook service. It's automatically installed with 0.10. And when clicking on that service, and then you can add subscriptions. And the form for the webhook service to create a subscription looks a little bit different compared to the others, because it's extended by allowing you to also configure the webhook you would like to call in this particular case. And as usual, you register for a certain task you're interested on, and then also have now the possibility here to define the endpoint you would like to call in case this event is fired by Keptn. You have also the possibility to define some custom payload you would like to send to this particular endpoint, and then you just create the subscription, and basically you are then done of integrating your webhook endpoint into Keptn. And yeah, here the documentation describes what you need to do. It's defining the subscription by defining the task you would like to subscribe, and then also the webhook you would like to listen on, you would like to fire. And a very nice and convenient, it's also the feature that allows you to pull in some sensitive data into, for example, a custom header, because here we have provided, I don't want to show you that, it's that one I would like to show you. Here we have provided the feature that is hidden behind this key, because when you click on that, you can then select a secret, and from this secret you can pick a secret value you would like to reference, and then this secret key is replaced by the value by the webhook service, so that you never ever expose some sensitive information in your configuration. Yeah, and some advanced webhook configs can also be done by going into the config itself, as everything is stored in a Git repository. So is the webhook configuration, and in the repository for your project, you will find this YAML description of a webhook config, and here you have also then the possibility to change it depending on your needs. And if when you would you like to test it out, and most likely, or a good use case is also to do this with a Slack integration, then I have also provided here some documentation of doing that. Just go here to the Slack integration page and follow this example that allows you to send an event to Slack, so that you can follow actually the execution of a process also on your Slack thread. Just create the webhook, store some sensitive data. It's actually a unique identifier that you need for your webhook, for your Slack integration, which should be stored as a secret. Then also you need to set up the Slack integration. And for doing so, go to the uniform, define a subscription, and also the webhook you would like to call. And I think this is a super convenient and very nice way of integrating quite a lot of tools, or almost all tools that are reachable via an endpoint. And therefore, you don't need custom code. You can just call it and then let the tool do its job. And whenever it's done, then just send back a finished event, and then Keptn goes on with the orchestration of the process itself. Stay tuned. This feature is really cool. Looking forward to get that one also out the door, and should help us to help Keptn growing and to make it accessible also for other tools and other integrations.
Cool. Yeah, I would have a question. For me, I think it would make sense to also publish this description how to write the Slack integration, probably also on the Artifact Hub, because if the webhook integration comes with Keptn, directly integrated with Keptn, then we could I could think of like publishing a Slack integration, a Discord integration, a Microsoft Teams integration on the Artifact Hub. It's more or less a way to it's more or less a documentation, but nevertheless we would have a listing then on the integrations page, and for people that would look for the integrations page, they would probably look for like Keptn integrations, and they maybe find it there, and then it would be a good place to find it there.
I totally agree. I totally agree. Actually, here my example of describing how a Slack integration works is quite hidden. You need to dive quite deep into this menu to find it, and having it listed here as a separate tile, which is basically just a description, but still a description of how you integrate Slack, would be quite beneficial and super useful. And I totally agree, and on with your opinion on that.
Cool. And one other question from my end. In the documentation, you mentioned that you need to have a Git upstream set for defining a webhook also with the via code. Is this not possible with the CLI to just add the file via the CLI with the Keptn add resource? Okay.
No, it's not. A Git upstream is not a requirement. As long as we will have the internal Git repo, you don't need an upstream, and will work definitely without one, like with every other integration we have.
Because just as a remark, in the documentation, it says this requires access to the Git upstream currently on the webhook integration page.
Okay.
On this one, and in the section advanced webhook configuration.
Okay, true. I mean, when you would like to edit this file, then you need to access it, and you need to get to the upstream. Therefore, you need you need to have an upstream configured.
Okay, but if
Because
I just want to edit because I already stored this file somewhere locally, then I can just override it. I can just do it with the CLI. Cool.
Sure.
Cool. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to see this in action, because I think it will open up a lot of different possibilities, maybe even more possibilities than that we can think of.
Yeah, true. I know that Christian also built a Jenkins integration. He just triggered the Jenkins pipeline. When the Jenkins pipeline was done, it responded back with an event, and so integration with Jenkins was possible without custom code. And I think there are quite a lot of open doors that we can make use of.
Is there any limitation how many webhooks we can add? Is there one per stage or one per trigger, or is it not tied to any limitation?
No, actually, there's no limitation. Feel free to add as many subscriptions as you want. You can have also multiple subscriptions on the same event, but for different webhooks. Also works. And this is what we also have tested out. Let's say, for example, you would like to listen on an evaluation finished event, and you would like to call, for example, Slack and also Jira on an evaluation finished event. This is possible.
Getting closer to becoming the favorite orchestration tool in the cloud native ecosystem.
This is what we are aiming for. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's really nice. Hopefully there will be more standards for webhooks going forward in the industry. Because now I would say that many tools require special webhook format, special data, so pretty much like how cloud events started. But yeah, once the industry standardizes, it will be much more easier to produce and consume webhooks.
Yeah, I think if we can probably even get rid of a custom payload, but if it's if the industry agrees on, let's say, a deployment trigger or a test trigger event format, then it would be cool to just say, okay, now I just want to send this event, and you can already assume that the other party will understand the event, and we don't have to define a custom payload.
Yeah, so what the Continuous Delivery Foundation is working on, so SIG Events started a new project called CD Events. Basically, it's standardizing events format for cloud events. But once the format is specified, nothing prevents using the same format, for example, for webhooks, because it's just structured data anyway. So I believe that it would be interchangeable.
Absolutely. Having here one language to speak would be really, really cool and really beneficial of all tools that are out there, as we then all speak the same language and understand how we can interact with each other.
Agreed.
All right. Okay. Yeah, this was it from my end for today. Just wanted to give you a quick hands up on what's the main feature of Odoo 10. In case there are no further questions, let me just go back to the agenda.
Yeah, I just added one last line. So since I will be transitioning internally at the company into a new role, I will be handing over the Keptn community meeting, let's say the community-focused community meetings, where I was mostly being like the moderator or kicking it off. I will be handing this over to Oleg, who will take the lead here, and he's also joining today. So this is really great. And for the community, that means there might be some changes in the format. We have already briefly talked about this, but I believe Oleg, that this will also be discussed in one of the community meetings, or maybe you will have a kind of suggestions how to run this in the upcoming meetings and going forward. There might be some changes.
all these discussions will happen through the community. And yeah, there are already questions about changing time, because yeah, there are collisions, for example, with CDF talk meetings and with CDF interoperability meetings, and some of our community members participate in both. So I think that it would be generally beneficial to review the meeting times after all this time zone mess is over in a few weeks. Yeah, let's see how it goes. But yeah, I will be taking over basically community meetings, but regarding all other kinds of maintenance contributions, I will go through the contributor ladder for Keptn. So I will be working in the community like any other contributor.
Yeah, and I think so. All the changes, if I understand correctly, will be definitely beneficial for the community to get more involved into the Keptn project. So currently we have set up this meeting as a kind of a, let's say, webinar. That means only maintainers are joining the meeting as panelists, and those who are not maintainers of the project yet are joining the meeting as attendees, which brings a little bit of a barrier. But we had in the past we had some issues with Zoom bombing, so this might also be some changes going forward. So that means please watch the announcements in the Keptn Slack, and also subscribe the calendar on the CNCF calendar, because if we have to release a new Zoom meeting ID, that means you will also have to update your calendar. So if you have it right now in your private calendars, or just copied it, make sure to also follow the community channels. So if there is any new Zoom ID of the meeting, that you have the Zoom ID also in your calendars. Cool.
Okay.
Are there any questions? Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I want to add one thing. Jürgen, we are really sad that you are leaving this group, but we want to say thanks a lot for all the efforts, thanks a lot for all the community work that you put into the Keptn team. We really appreciate that. Really awesome what you have also achieved in regard to the integrations, in regard to helping out on the Slack channel, and being part, and also mentoring, or not mentoring, moderating here always the dev meetings. We're really thankful, and wish you also all the best for your new role and the new journey that is in front of you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks also to everyone. It has been great to be part of this community, and also see this project growing bigger and bigger. Now looking forward, maybe there is the next step for incubation. This is still in progress, so there haven't been a lot of updates in the last community meetings on this, but I'm sure there will be more updates on this once we're getting closer to this. So this is in progress, and it has been a very exciting journey. The whole journey, actually. Johannes, we started, and also Florian is joining here. We started this off with the first lines of code, and then seeing it now in version 10 coming up in a couple of days. That's really cool, and it was great to lead the community here. So yeah, and I will stay part of the Keptn community, maybe not as active as I was in the last couple of months, but really great to see this. And I think it's and I'm absolutely convinced that this is also in the best hands with Oleg and the rest of the Keptn team. So yeah, and I see Suraj also attending this meeting because of some interactions. That's cool.
Yeah.
I still remember that.
Thanks, Jürgen, and best of luck with whatever next.
Thanks.
In the community.
Thanks, everyone. Okay. So I think with this we can close it a little bit earlier than maybe the last meetings, and then see you all in the next meetings. And I'm happy to join also in one of the next meetings as well. So thanks everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.